I'm back. Hey, you're watching Media News number 171, and we're going to be talking about, indie comics and more indie comics. But first, we're going to talk about DC Comics and that Batman tease that we gave you in the last news. We're going to talk more about Batman Dark Knight this summer. We're also going to talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the indie movie he's got coming up, the indie comic book movie. We're also going to talk about Robert Kirkman's next big project that he's got coming your way, based on one of his characters, and a little bit more. All that and more coming right up.
They huff and they puff, and they tell tales of common interest. Here's JR and Comic Book Man with Media News. Hey, can we start calling them Huff and Puff? Because that would be cool. Here's Huff and Puff with Media News. I like it.
Hey, wasn't Popeye one of the original Avengers? Media News, episode 171, clearly befuddled.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for JR. What time is it?
It's time for Media News, and
Media News?
it's getting late.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Media News. And Media News is coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. And it truly is beautiful. If you've never been down to Mount Greenwood, please take the time to come down to Mount Greenwood.
Bring
You will
a camera.
be absolutely amazed
He's been
by
drinking.
how beautiful.
Bring camera.
As is most of Mount
And a
Greenwood.
fifth of gin.
Anyway.
And a fifth of gin.
And bring a fifth of gin because that will help you immeasurably with how beautiful it is. Alternate Reality, where all my new comics are 15% off every day for everyone.
That's crazy.
JR.
Wow.
The biggest film of the summer,
Oh,
maybe Avengers, but will probably be
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
And in our last media news,
Yeah, we teased you.
we teased you, and,
Easy,
here's the payoff. And here's the
Lemon
payoff.
squeezy.
Dark Knight Rises is coming out in July.
July 20th.
July 20. Oh, by the time it comes out, Avengers is going to be a distant memory.
I'm glad you said July 20th and distant memory all in the same sentence because that has to do with my story.
Okay. It's going to be a distant memory. It's been given a PG-13 rating, as we
rating.
talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
But what else do you have?
Well, being a PG-13 rating
Yes.
in and of itself is not news.
No.
But what that does say, what date is this, Comic Book Man, as we tape this?
As we tape this,
Yes.
today is April the 12th?
There you are.
14th?
All right, we are, what?
No, 14th. Yes, it was
three-
Friday the 13th.
The rating was handed out last week,
Okay.
which is nearly 4 months until the film's release.
Okay.
What does that say? When a film gets a rating, it's done. It's locked.
It's finished.
Effects are done. Editing's done.
Yeah.
Music is done. That never
It's in the can.
It's in the can, finished and ready to be shown.
Okay. Let's go. Come on, let's
Exactly.
go.
4 months in advance. What does it say about Christopher Nolan as a director? A lot. Because these type of films, these
It says he doesn't make a film with his thumb up his ass.
movies like this, the Marvel movies, any sort of big science fiction film, they're not done until about 2 weeks before release.
Yeah.
They're not locked until 2 weeks before release.
Yeah.
He's done 4 months in advance. This
Nolan
guy's
ain't no slouch.
He's a professional. To be
Well,
done this
yeah.
to be done this far in advance says a lot about this guy and how he's able to get a film done on time and on budget. And I just think that's remarkable for a movie that cost reportedly $250 million.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a big budget.
Yes, it is. That's John Carter money, but I don't think they're worried about it.
Have there been any snippets yet about how good the film is, or?
Well, he
it might
showed
be
it.
Bad it
He
is.
showed it to the Warner Brothers brass a
Yes.
couple of weeks
Say
back.
that 5 times
Yeah,
fast.
exactly.
Or
More
bring it
alliteration.
back.
We're big on alliteration here at the Alternate Reality, and they loved it. Of course, they loved it. It hasn't been shown to any sort of press or anyone outside of the studio, but
Okay.
the advance word coming out of that screening was that they're very, very pleased by what they see. So,
Okay.
There you go.
Thumbs up.
4
Thumbs
months
up.
to go.
So
Right
watch out for Batman. Of course.
yeah, watch out for
Of course, the big horse race this year is going to be which of the two films is going to make more money, Avengers or Batman.
And you could even
And I-
maybe throw Spider-Man in that mix.
I'm
Is
not
the one going to
throwing.
beat Hunger Games?
I'm not throwing Spider-Man into that mix.
Question.
It's going to be Avengers or Batman. I think Spider-Man will be a side story for the weekend it
I
comes
am
out,
going
and
to
that'll be
say,
about it.
since Jeff, our beloved cameraman, said
Yes.
made that comment, I'm going to say Spider-Man will not make as much money as Hunger Games.
No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Which would be, I went on record in our last episode talking about how stinky I think the Spider-Man film is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame because I really would love to see a wonderful Spider-Man
Yeah.
film, but I don't see it happening with this. As far as making more money than Hunger Games goes, I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at the box office receipts. Hunger Games made a ton of money so far.
It's domestically, it's pushing $400 million.
It's not going to make Hunger Games. It's not going to make Hunger Games.
Spider-Man won't.
Avengers might not make Hunger Games.
well, yeah.
Spider-Man,
possible.
Spider-Man will have a huge weekend, and a lot on all these films is going to depend on its reviews. The opening weekend for all these films are going to be great.
Gigantic.
Yeah, even if it get 1-star reviews,
Right.
people are going to show up to see them just because of what they are.
I heard-
Now your repeat viewing will depend, and people from the outside will depend in large part on what the reviews are
And word of mouth.
and word of mouth.
I heard tickets for Amazing Spider-Man was going to be $100. So.
Wow, it's in 4D.
There are three polls that any movie can base its financial future on: what the reviews are, what the word of mouth is, and what the advertising is like. Advertising on all these films is probably going to be real good.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so that comes down to word of mouth and reviews. Okay, and you can sort of fudge reviews because, depending on how much of this.
Do you like
make.
Junkett's comic book?
Amazingly bad.
Who? Maria Salas, wasn't she the
Oh,
one that was
well,
always good
allegedly.
for? She was always good for at least 3 stars for any piece of crap that was out there because
we have-
because she had very low standards.
We have some folks in Chicago who do that exact same thing.
Yes.
I will not name names though.
But word of mouth is something you can't get around. You can't get around
No.
word of mouth.
No. And after that first weekend, when all the fans get out there and see it, if it's no good, they're going to spread the word, and that second weekend will tank, or it will stay
Now,
lofty.
if you've got good advertising, if you've got good word of mouth, and if you've got good reviews, or at least mediocre to good reviews, you're going to have a huge release, and
Yeah.
you're going to be around for a couple of weeks. If you fall down on any one of those, like say John Carter, which didn't have a good advertising campaign, which did not have good word of mouth, it had okay word of
Decent
mouth
word of mouth.
among the fan base, okay, but that's not nearly enough, and it had lukewarm reviews at best.
Yeah.
So, and that was one of John Carter's big.
That movie's budget was ludicrous to begin with.
Well, it was that
It
too.
shouldn't have been that high for something that has no name
Right.
recognition.
And no star. No,
Yeah.
they can't hang a star on it.
One of the things I'm going to say about a big budget like that is, no, it shouldn't have been that big. But if you're going that big, there is no excuse to botch the advertising.
That is for
Really,
sure.
there's no excuse to botch the advertising. Because if you're dumping that much money into something, you want to get out there and push the damn thing.
But
Anyway.
we digress, comic book.
Yes, we've digressed all over
We
the
are
place, but you know what? I was
digressing.
talking about John Carter, which was a film about an independent character, and the rest of this news is going to be all about.
look
I
at
can
you.
segue my ass right back into this
Man,
thing.
that is
Super segue.
We are gonna
That is
and we are gonna
spectacular.
do the rest of the show about indie comic
Indie.
book properties.
Yes,
Indie
yes.
comic properties. And the next one up is going to be Dwayne the Rock
Yes,
Johnson.
It doesn't seem like a
You
week
know?
goes by that we don't talk about The Rock.
He's
here on this show.
great. He's great.
Well, he is now. You could certify him, stamp him on the forehead with box office star, because Journey 2 just crossed, I think, worldwide $400 million. So he is a worldwide box office
Time to
sensation.
tackle Broadway.
Exactly, and he's already got his next project. It is entitled Lore. It is based on an Ashley Wood graphic novel.
Oh, I know which one that is.
There you go. It is being described as Men in Black with mythological creatures.
Okay.
So he's got work. I'm not even sure when this is going to start shooting or when it's going to be out, but that's his
Okay.
next project.
Something about Secret Society of Shepherds or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
a silly concept, but I've
Well.
never read any Ashley Wood. You probably have.
Name one of these movies that isn't a silly concept. Kid gets
Well,
bitten by a radioactive spider and starts climbing around on walls. It depends on how you do that as to how silly it is or isn't.
Supposedly these shepherds, it's a society of shepherds who kind of hold together this banished world of mythological creatures.
Okay.
And then somehow somebody sneaks through the cracks there, and I can't wait to see The Rock play a shepherd. That's all. That's all.
Is he gonna have a big hook cane and he wear the robes and?
I hope
Oh,
so.
Oh, that'd
I
be
hope
great.
so.
That'd be great.
Leading around sheep.
Another indie movie which has been out already, hasn't had its sequel yet, but everybody's been talking about
Oh,
forever,
yeah.
forever with its sequel is Sin City 2.
Finally.
Finally. I mean, talk about a no-brainer to make a sequel out of
Yeah.
Sin City 2. And especially since the material is out there to be mined. What's up with Sin City 2?
Finally, Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller made the announcement this past week. Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For.
Oh, that trade.
Well,
that,
I think
that
the
storyline.
Spirit knocked them back a month.
Yeah, I think everybody wanted to get
Wow.
the bad taste of the spirit out of their mouths.
And that, as
for-
bad as that was, took a long time.
Start shooting this summer.
Okay.
This summer. So, and there's no release date yet. And
No?
actually, at the press conference, nobody said who's directing it. We're all assuming it's going to be the same situation of Rodriguez and Miller co-directing the film, but nothing was really mentioned at the press conference as to who's directing it. But
Okay.
finally, it's happening. For all of you that have been saying, when are we getting another Sin City movie? Here it comes.
Meanwhile, keeping with indie stories, Robert Kirkman,
Stately
because of
story.
The Walking Dead, has become one of the hottest creators, at least in TV.
That is correct.
At least in
Yes.
TV, at least at AMC.
Yeah.
That's out there right now, and there's another Kirkman project that is working its way towards big screen, little screen.
It's television. AMC
Okay.
has already got him on board for his successor series, Thief of Thieves,
which has nothing to do with Walking Dead, for those of you who don't know Walking Dead,
No.
except for the fact both are published by Image.
by Image Comics, and I believe this just started, didn't it?
Yeah, Thief of Thieves. First issue just came out like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's about a master thief who supposedly is walking the straight and narrow, but that is only a ruse
Yeah.
to cover up some other things that are going on. And also it has to do with his estranged wife and kids. So I think this one's more grounded than Walking Dead.
Yeah.
There's no fantasy elements to it.
Well, the amazing thing about this is Walking Dead is just cranked over its 94th, I think, issue, 94th or 95th issue. We're rocketing towards the big 100 that's coming out with 8 covers, by the way, kids.
8?
8 covers coming your way. Each cover is going to feature this is comic book news, by the way. Each cover is going to feature a different Walking Dead character done by a different artist. And these aren't artists you haven't heard of. I mean, Charlie Alvarez is doing one of them. They're getting him back for one of them. But I think Neil Adams is doing a cover. I think Bernie Wrightson's doing
Alex
a cover.
Ross?
I'm not sure about Alex Ross. Could be. But they're all 8 covers are being done by different artists, and each one features a different character from Walking Dead.
Adam Hughes?
Maybe.
Art Adams?
Maybe.
Art Adams?
Maybe. I haven't heard of.
Edie Adams.
Edie Adams. Yes, Edie Adams. But that had to crank off all those issues before it got made. It was back in the 60s or 70s that it was first pitched to AMC, and they picked it up. Thief of Thieves has got 2 issues out,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm really going,
amazing.
we want to do it!
Well, what's even more amazing to me is that Kirkman has this huge cachet of Invincible out there.
Yeah, Invincible, and
It's been
nothing's
around
going on.
forever, and nothing's happened with that. And you would think that would be a natural for somebody to pick up.
Invincible came out shortly after Walking
Yeah.
Dead. I mean, the 2 of them are real close to each
Yeah,
other as far as numbers
exactly.
go. And they've both been coming out monthly, and I don't think he's missed a deadline on either one
Kirkman's
of them.
hot superhero films are hot. What's the whole
Expensive.
It
It's
would be
expensive.
expensive. It would be expensive, yeah.
They don't want to spend any money on Walking Dead,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's already a proven property.
Well, that's AMC.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Why
Yeah,
not
what are
just
you gonna
take
do?
one of his properties? It's not going to cost us that much.
What are you gonna do, comic book?
We're going to get out of here.
We're
done.
done?
We're
That's a good
finished. We're out of
idea.
here. We got no more comic book news, no more movie news, no more indie news. But go to the store's website. You can check out all the news that Bocephus gives me that I post up there. And where is the store's website?
I have no idea, but I think Sarah knows.
www.myalternatereality.com. Think of what could happen if you don't go.
So stop off at the store's website and check out all of Bo's news and all of this man's reviews. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man
And it's JR.
saying thanks for watching. Bye! Here at Alternate Reality, all new comics are 15% off every day for everybody. That's right, all my new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. All you got to do is stop in here and pick it up anytime during the 7 days that book is new. So be sure to stop off here at Alternate Reality and pick up this week's new comics for 15% off all the time, only at Alternate Reality.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.